How many people here watch football? Yeah, a lot of people here. According to procon.org, 43% of Americans watch football. And pretty much any sport that you watch has some sort of a playoff system, or teams compete at the end of the year to see who the best team is. Well, I'm going to talk about college football and how it's not correct the way they do their national championship game. And for those of you that don't watch, I'm going to explain how the BCS system works. The national championship is set up to where, in college football, to where the top two rated teams, rated based on a computer system, get to play for a national championship each year. This does not take into effect how much better the team might have got throughout the year, or if the team started off with one bad game and then played well after that. They most likely, if they lose one game, will not get to play for a national championship. And in recent years, it's been a big debate throughout ESPN and SportsCenter about whether there should be a playoff system. Anybody that watches football pretty much knows who Tim Tebow is, and Tim was the quarterback of the Florida Gators. He led his team to national titles in 2006 and 2008. This past season was his senior year, and his team was undefeated. There was only 3 teams left in college football that were undefeated, and pretty much if you're not undefeated, you won't get a shot at the title game. And Tim, the last week of regular season, had to play Alabama. Well, Alabama is one of the teams that's undefeated. In my opinion, those are the top 2 teams in college football at the time, but because they have to play, whoever loses most likely won't get to play for national championship. Tim's Gators had a bad game, they lost, and Alabama moves on and gets to play for national championship. Florida gets the consolation prize of playing for the runner-up bowl, and of course they won big. And I do not feel that Texas was deserving because of who they played. So here I'm going to go into more detail about the BCS, which stands for Bowl Championship Series. It is a computer ranking system, and it ranks the teams based on the coach's poll, fan poll. They take all types of polls. They take in your record, and they also base it a little bit on your schedule strength of how good of teams you play, how big of teams you play, and from which conference they are from. The problem is you get teams that want to make it high in BCS rankings, so they make their schedule so they don't play anybody that's good. They play, you'll see teams out of the Big Ten like Michigan will play teams that you've never even heard of, and sometimes it bites them, but most times you got the small school that comes in to play Michigan at the big house, and wow, Michigan whomps on them because they're so much bigger, and they should whomp on them, but it makes Michigan look good because they're beating up on all these teams and their record shows that they're good. And an example of this is Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a good football program. Last year they played a lot of easy teams. They were undefeated, and they get to the bowl games, which is what happens at the end of the year. There's always a bunch of bowl games, and BCS ranks teams and puts them together to play in the bowl games. Cincinnati gets matched up against Florida. Cincinnati's undefeated, and they killed everybody they played during the year. Florida beats them by 40 points and shows that really that doesn't matter what your record is. It's all about who you've played. So, and then from 4 years ago when Utah played, they were undefeated on the year. They win their bowl game. They never lost a game all year, but they didn't get a chance at the national championship because, according to the BCS ranking, they didn't play good enough teams. So there needs to be playoffs. And playoffs would not mean the end of a BCS system. Every team would still get ranked just like they do now, but this would give more teams opportunity to play for a title because you let the teams decide out on the field. You don't let a computer rank teams on how good they are. And according to procon.org, 85% of college football fans would like the college football to go to a playoff system. The solution, like I just said, 8-team playoff. You do 3 rounds to get a national champion. It'd be a true national champion. It wouldn't be computer ranked, and they'd all play on a neutral field. and you get a lot more excitement, just like in any sport. At the end of the year when the playoffs start, that's when most people watch, just to see who wins. I know I watch the Red Wings right now just because they're in the playoffs, but I don't usually watch them during the regular season. So you get more fans, and it'd also make them happy. Now, how many people like Barack Obama? Okay, a lot of you. He's the leader of our country, and usually what he says goes. So I'm going to show you this link. And everybody listen closely to what he has to say. Anyone hear that? That might be a little loud. And this was on 60 Minutes. That's not working.
Getting a college football player for the national championship.
This is important. Look. Excuse me for a
yes,
second.
please. Don't mind me.
I think any sensible person would say that you've got a bunch of teams who played throughout the season, and many of them have one loss or two losses. There's no clear, decisive winner. That we should be creating a playoff system. 8 teams. That would be 3 rounds to determine a national champion. It would add 3 extra weeks to the season. You could trim back on the regular season. I don't know any serious fan of college football who has disagreed with me on this. I'm going to throw my weight around a little bit. I think it's the right thing to do.
So that was in a recent clip that he did on 60 Minutes. And he believes it, so I believe it. And these are just some of the fans of college football. And I figured I'd add that in there. Go Blue.
It looks like, yeah.